When you hold the microphone in the presence of your nation, your small nation, your weak nation, they clap hands for you. Let them come. They will do nothing. I don't know, believers, this man invested millions of dollars. He sent a private jet to Kenya a few days before he was arrested to fetch a prophet from Kenya. Reports are that even after the prophet had done his job, this man gave him millions. The prophet from Kenya was given millions to pray for Maduro that the US government could not harm him. Less than 2 weeks later, Maduro was arrested at midnight. Clearly, he wasted his private jet and his money. These guys are very spiritual, pastor. They are very religious. They believe in miracles. In our Shona tinoti Mangoromera anoda akambomawona achishanda. Ukangobva kwatemerwa so Usanodenha. Imbotsvaga munhu akatemerwa nesemung'anga. Wombomuti imborova ndichiona. Ndinodenha munhu anondigurunura mazino ese. Ndikapedzisira ndakungodya bedzi nenami nederere. Ivo vamwe vachidya nenyama. Mazina akuumuka. Haikona kuita mawara nemangoromera.
Ora. Ndabuda mdeni, ndaloka madozi, ndapita machira. Ndapedza kuyabota. Nawo zangu zinotanga ndiri pambedha. Tosoguma ndatoita meta. Ora. Ndakatanga mhaya kandirumira nemhiripiri.
So I want to see the image of President Donald Trump and the image of Nicolas Maduro, the now arrested former president of Venezuela. I don't have a lot of words for this man. And let's see the other one, President Donald Trump. They should have written President Donald Trump. Because Donald Trump is not an ordinary man. He is a president.
Yes.
So we want you to write President Donald Trump. And Nicolas Maduro, the former president of Venezuela. I don't know, believers, this man invested millions of dollars. He sent a private jet to Kenya a few days before he was arrested to fetch a prophet from Kenya. Reports are that even after the prophet had done his job, this man gave him millions. The prophet from Kenya was given millions to pray for Maduro that the US government could not harm him. Less than 2 weeks later, Maduro was arrested at midnight. Clearly, he wasted his private jet and his money. These guys are very spiritual, pastor. They are very religious. They believe in miracles. If we have a police officer or a former police officer, come and tell us whether we needed the army to arrest the Guru guy. We didn't. It's a waste of resources. Did you know that, pastor, that we didn't need the army?
I didn't even realize that we used the army. I am just behind.
You're not reading news, but
no, I'm not.
So put Maduro and Trump, their images on the screen. No, they eventually involved the army. The army went there with helicopters. It was a lot of drama. It was like a movie.
Right.
Yes. And it happens, the man they apprehended is actually not of sound mind. And so can I involve my army? Most of not munhu wacho mabata ari kutora sikanjere. How do you deal with that? So believers, one of my jobs as a minister, and Thomas 20 some snipers 20, the Air Force 30, 50 mapurisa nema youth 100, kuendera munhu 1 ane bhemba. Kukauya boko haram matatu chii chinoitika. Yeah, it's embarrassing. When we see things like that, those who know national security will be worried. Who is making these decisions? Do we really have any security, national security system that knows what it's doing in place? Because real soldiers could not have walked into that job with pride that we have found something to do. No. But kana vasingazive zvesecurity unoti vakagona. But kana vachiziva zvesecurity unoti ndofunga mbariro dzakasunga mushauno dzakudabuka. Because tiri kuita sekunge tava vanhu vasisina chiremerera. Basa rimwe nerimwe rofanira kuzivikanwa varidzi varo vanogona kuriita. So our police is competent to have done the job. Involving the army is worrisome. It says the government is unsure and it is not confident about the capability of its police institution. That is something worth worrying about. If the president is not confident about the competency of our police, then who should be confident? And so my question is to Mr. Mnangagwa, should we replace the ZRP with the Zimbabwe Defense Forces? And perhaps send the members of the ZRP for refresher courses so that they can be that competent enough to your confidence. Yeah. Now the problem with this initiative of our government, sending soldiers to hunt a criminal, it creates two problems. The first problem is that more sophisticated criminals than that one, when they see the police, they will say, we can beat them up to the game. Because even their government is not confident about their capability. When it is a sign of panic on the part of the president. And that is also bad feedback to sophisticated and complex criminal gangs and the criminal cartels. And that's a problem. Criminals are going to be afraid of soldiers and not the police. The next thing, you are going to see police officers being attacked by criminals. As we speak now, a prison officer was stabbed by a criminal just after that Guruve man was apprehended in the involvement of the army. You understand? The second problem is that it takes away confidence from the police officers. They will say when serious matters arise, the president will involve the army. So let's shy away from dangerous criminals. Let's go and report them to the army. And so what happens to communities when they see police officers and not army people in army uniform? Their confidence is low. And that's a problem. So I hope this is a concern. I'm a leader, I'm allowed to speak my concerns. Let the police do the police work, let the military do military work. If the president has soldiers that he has nothing for them to do, I offer him two options. Retire them, let them join the private sector. The second thing for them to do, for him to do with them, let them join government parastatals where infrastructural work is being done. Let the members of the army join the district development fund. Let them join the Ministry of Public Works. Let them build hospitals. Let them become builders and carpenters, electricians. In some countries, soldiers are also able to do that, so that they are not just seated in barracks doing nothing. It seems like he sent soldiers there because they were being idle, because that's not military work. You understand? Let's look at Maduro's image and Trump's image. My point here is that what happened to Nicolas Maduro is not just an ordinary event. It's a trigger that is signaling that there's a new environment that is going to be existing from henceforth going forward. We are going to see a different geopolitical climate that is going to emerge out of the recent events and the immediate future events. The politics of the world is shifting. And I don't want to speak a lot about that. I'm going to give a prophecy a different day. This is just an observation I wanted you to see, but what I've said is something that is happening. It has already started happening. It's a different geopolitical climate that is going to create new things that have never been established before, new political alliances, new international organizations. They are going to emerge. So I'm not going to speak and say I'm happy or I'm not happy towards what happened between the USA and Venezuela. All I wanted to do is to show you that a similar event like that once happened and was documented in the scriptures.
All right.
So could this be a coincidence? All right, so in 2 Kings chapter 23, chapter 24, in 2 Kings chapter 24, after the death of Jehoahaz, the king of Judah, there came Joachim. All right, whose real name was Eliakim. He became the king of Judah, and he was 25 years old when he began to reign. And he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem, and his mother, and his name was Zebudah, the daughter of Pedaiah of Rumah. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, according to all that his fathers had done.
Yes.
Now, I was reading 2 Kings 23, verse number 23.
You're reading from verse 36.
I was reading from verse 36, from verse 34 actually, but I started reading aloud from verse 36 to verse 37. So, if you want to understand what occasioned the exiling of Judah into Babylon, you might want to read 2 Kings 23, 24, and 25.
Yes.
But the whole story is documented rather in the book of Jeremiah, from Jeremiah chapter 1. How God kept on rebuking Judah. Stop doing your abominations, come back to me. And the nation could not hear God. And so God promised he was going to shame them. He was going to punish them.
Yes.
He was going to let them be captured by a foreign nation.
Oh, yeah.
And they laughed God to scorn. God sent several prophets, which spanned more than a decade. And so when the warnings of God take long,
Yes.
people tend to believe that God is bluffing.
Yes.
But let's leave that for another day. The point is, Joachim was also a wicked king for Judah.
Yes.
He did what was evil in the sight of the Lord, just like his fathers that had ruled Judah before him.
Yes.
So we want to read chapter 24. We want to see whether what President Trump did to Nicolas Maduro is actually something recorded in the scriptures.
Yes.
The question is, could it be a coincidence?
Right.
Verse 1.
In his days, Nebuchadnezzar, king
In Joachim's days, yes.
Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up, and Joachim became his servant 3 years.
All right, let's leave it. I just wanted us to read it up to that time. So, what happened to Joachim in verse number 10?
At that time, the servants of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came up against Jerusalem, and the city was besieged.
Yes.
And Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, came against the city, and his servants did besiege it. And Joachim, the king of Judah, went out to the king of Babylon, he and his mother, and his servants, and his princes, and his officers, and the king of Babylon took him in the 8th year of his reign.
All right, so Joachim had died in verse 6.
Yes.
So Joachim died, and his son Joachim
Yes.
ruled in his stead.
Yes.
So Joachim, but you must understand that Nebuchadnezzar came against Judah
Yes.
in the days of Joachim.
Yes.
So Joachim, his son, inherited an international conflict
Yeah, that's right.
from his father.
Yes.
So Joachim, as soon as he took over, Nebuchadnezzar came again against Judah.
Yes.
And he came out of the palace to meet the king and his mother and his servants and his princes and his officers. And what did the king Nebuchadnezzar do to him?
And took him in the 8th year of his reign.
So the king of Babylon is verse 12, Bishop, read again.
And Joachim, the king of Judah, went out to the king of Babylon, he and his mother and his servants and his princes and his officers. And the king of Babylon took him in the 8th year of his reign. And he carried out hence all the treasures of the house of the Lord. And the
Verse
treasure-
15.
And he carried away Joachim to Babylon.
So Nebuchadnezzar carried Joachim away to Babylon.
And the king's mother,
Yes.
and the king's wives,
Yes.
and his officers,
Yes.
and the might of the land, those carried he into captivity from Jerusalem to Babylon.
He became a prisoner.
Yes.
So Joachim became a prisoner in Babylon, not in Judah.
No.
So Joachim is now a prisoner. What did Nebuchadnezzar do? Because now that there is no king for Judah, there must be a president in Judah.
Okay.
And this is what we are seeing right now. Trump is doing this to his head. Who can I install as the president of Venezuela? And it seems like something odd that the world has ever seen. We have never seen something like this before. How can Trump say this one is not popular with the people? She cannot be the president of Venezuela. That one is a friend of this one. He cannot be. I am yet to decide.
Whose people now?
Whose people? What gives you such power, Mr. Trump? What happens in verse 17? When he incarcerated Joachim in prison, what did Nebuchadnezzar do for Judah?
And the king of Babylon made Mattaniah, his father's brother, king in his stead, and he changed his name to Zedekiah. Because Trump.
So imagine a foreign president gives you a president from among your people.
Yes.
And he changed his name. Huh? And how many people knew that King Zedekiah, the one who had running battles was Jeremiah. The name Zedekiah is not his Jewish name.
No.
It's a Babylonian name.
Yes, yes.
His Jewish name is Mattaniah. Verse 18.
Zedekiah was 21 years old when he began to reign.
Did he win election?
No, he was installed.
Pastor Shuma, did he win election, Zedekiah?
No, he was just installed by the Babylonian king, Nebuchadnezzar.
Can you give an illustration with our own nation, Zimbabwe? What is this matter? How could it have happened in the case of Zimbabwe?
In the case of Zimbabwe, this would be a disaster if a foreign foreign dignitary or a foreign leader, let us say Cyril Ramaphosa, the president of South Africa, came to Zimbabwe, removed his honor, he removed Iji Mnangagwa as the president, and installed
someone else.
Installed Thomas of Cholocho.
Yes.
That will be.
And he changes his name.
And changes his name to a South African name.
Okay. Is this right?
No,
it's not right, right?
No, it's not right.
Something terribly wrong is happening.
Yes.
When such things happen,
yeah,
what it means is God is not happy with the current old order. He wants to change it. And to show you that it's him, he doesn't use consent. He uses power, force.
Yeah.
And sometimes power is in the hands of those who are not your favorites.
Yes.
In this case, Nebuchadnezzar. Kuti uti zvinoitika sei kuti Nebuchadnezzar anowana simba rekutora president wenyu wenyika oenda naye ari mahandicapsi kumusha kwake. Imi muchiita maprayers ikoko muchiti holiday shame. God changes certain structures of the world when they are going overdrive into rebellion and extremism.
Yes.
He wants to level things to his standard, to correct extremities. He uses force and power.
Yeah.
That does not make logic. Unongoitaura chirungu chiri correct, but power usina.
Zero power.
So, what happened so he was 21 years old when he began to reign. How many years did he reign in Jerusalem?
And he reigned 11 years in Jerusalem.
Yes.
And his mother's name was Hamtao, the daughter of Jeremiah of Libnah.
Right. Now there's something interesting, and I mean no offense to our women. I hope you will not take an offense. Joachim, who was arrested at first by Nebuchadnezzar.
Yes.
His mother's name. What was his mother's name?
Joachim, his mother's name was Zebudah.
Zebudah. This one, his mother's name was Hamutao, the daughter of Jeremiah of Libnah.
Yes.
So when you see kings being introduced and the need to talk about their mother's name, know of a surety that Nemesis will catch up with that kingdom soon.
All right. All right.
Why do we need to hear Zedekiah's mother's name?
All right.
Pane zvaiitika kuna namama ikoko zvisingafadze Mwari. Ubva maziva kuti munhu akarera mwana uyu ndiani.
All right.
Pane nhau yekurerwa ipapa.
All right. All right.
What did he do in verse 19?
And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord,
Yes.
according to all that Joachim had done.
His brother, yes.
For through the anger of the Lord it came to pass in Jerusalem and Judah, until he had cast them out of his presence, that Zedekiah rebelled against the king of Babylon.
Ihasha dzamwari. Saka Zedekiah ati handichada kubhadhara mutero wa Nebuchadnezzar. Because Nebuchadnezzar said, you are my president, so I can leave you to govern your country for me.
Yes.
But there were payments that Zedekiah was paying to Nebuchadnezzar periodically. And so one day Zedekiah said, he is a spoiled brat.
Yeah.
This Nebuchadnezzar, I won't pay him a cent from now onwards. And the Bible says it was God who pushed Zedekiah to stop paying tribute to Nebuchadnezzar.
Wow.
God did not want Nebuchadnezzar to have a favorable relationship with Zedekiah. God wanted Nebuchadnezzar to be angry with Zedekiah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So God strengthened, emboldened Zedekiah to believe that he could defy Nebuchadnezzar. I want you to listen to me carefully there. Do you know that certain international conflicts only were started and were worsened by the arrogance of one person in an entire nation?
Okay.
An arrogant president can plunge the entire nation into a serious crisis, an existential crisis. Had Zedekiah remained humble,
Yes.
submitted to Nebuchadnezzar's demands. As we speak right now, 2 Kings 25 could not have happened. A very small nation, a very useless nation, a nation which is at war already with its God. Where does Zedekiah obtain strength or confidence to provoke Nebuchadnezzar to anger, having known that Judah had not been doing well with God?
Yes.
There is a proverb that says those who live in glass houses should not throw stones at bywalkers. You don't throw stones at your enemy when you know you have an inherent weakness. The estrangement of the relationship between Judah and God should have been enough reason to cause Zedekiah to be submissive to Nebuchadnezzar.
Yes.
You talk as though you are a strong man, Mr. Nebuchadnezzar. When you hold the microphone in the presence of your nation, your small nation, your weak nation, they clap hands for you. Let them come. They will do nothing. Mr. Zedekiah said, you are a little one now. Don't be a chihuahua.
Yes.
Calm down.
Yes.
And so go and listen to the speeches of Nicolas Maduro in the previous 4 months before he was captured. He seemed to be a great one.
Okay.
He spoke great words of defiance to Mr. Trump, which was a great mistake. In our Shona tinoti Mangoromera anoda akambomawona achishanda. Ukangobva kwatemerwa so Usanodenha. Imbotsvaga munhu akatemerwa nesemung'anga. Wombomuti imborova ndichiona. Ndinodenha munhu anondigurunura mazino ese. Ndikapedzisira ndakungodya bedzi nenami nederere. Ivo vamwe vachidya nenyama. Mazino akuhumuka. Haikona kuita mawara nemangoromera. Anoda kumboonekwa achishanda. Nemumwanawo akatora iwo usati waanawo. So Maduro sounded like munhu achangotemerwa mangoromera. All right. So I want you to see that the Zedekiah story in 2 Kings 25 is like a prophecy of Nicolas Maduro's quandary or serious situation which he found himself in a few days ago.
Yes.
When he was captured in his state house by President Trump's soldiers. President Maduro did exactly what Makandiwa did. He defied the boss because of the crowds of his own people. Isu tainzikana tichikura pataikura tainzikana uchida kurovana nemunhu usadenhane naye uine mukadzi wako.
All right.
Nekuti unotunidzwa nemukadzi wako wozodhadhwa asipo.
Okay.
Saka wainzikana ukaona munhu anodenha uine mukadzi wako, try to control yourself, ada kukunyadzisa. Izodzoka wawega kuti wakochiti kudii pai pai. Mupedzerana muri varume vega pasina vakadzi. So it's about Zedekiah.
Yes.
I see Nicolas Maduro in Zedekiah's story of chapter 25. Let's read it from verse 1.
And it came to pass in the 9th year of his reign,
Of Zedekiah's reign. Korinakirish 9.
in the 10th month.
So Mr. Trump did not just attack Venezuela's state house. There was a time when the soldiers were in the sea and people were seeing it on national television. Mainstream media, they reported it on CNN, Sky News, BBC, Al Jazeera. President Trump has increased the presence of warships near the coast of Venezuela. And that is when Mr. Maduro organized a march, a large march of all his entire army. And they said he's showing a show of force.
All right.
And he then made a speech and he said they would not do anything. Verse 1.
And it came to pass in the 9th year of his reign,
In the 9th year of King Zedekiah, Nicolas Maduro.
in the 10th month,
Yes.
in the 10th day of the month, that Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon came, he and all his host, against Jerusalem, and preached against it.
Mr. Trump did not bring all his army. He brought a very small battalion.
Okay.
Very, very small.
Okay.
200 personnel. They are the ones that took Mr. Maduro from his state house. And that is a show of defiance. It's a show of pride. It's a show of strength. 200 men are the ones which entered into Venezuela to fish him out of his bedroom. Like a squirrel hiding in a barrel.
Hey. Yeah.
So he came and besieged it. He besieged Venezuela with a few ships, Mr. Trump. Verse 2.
And the city was besieged unto the 11th year of King Zedekiah.
Caracas was besieged by President Trump, Nebuchadnezzar.
Yes.
Yes.
And on the 9th day of the 4th month, the famine.
Was it the 3rd? It was the 3rd day of January, right? That it happened.
Yes.
On the 3rd of January.
Yes.
Yes.
The famine prevailed in the city.
Yes.
And there was no bread for the people of the land.
Yes.
And the city was broken up.
Yes.
And all the men of war fled by night
All the military of Maduro ran away.
by the way of the gate between two walls.
Yes.
Which is by the king's garden.
Yes.
Now the Chaldees were against the city round about.
Yes.
And the king went the way toward the plain.
Yes.
And the army of the Chaldees pursued after the king.
So President Trump's Delta Force pursued after Nicolas Maduro.
And overtook him in the plains
And
of
they
Jericho.
caught him at his palace.
And all his army were scattered from him.
The presidential guard and the militias could not help Maduro.
So they took the king and brought him up to the king of Babylon.
Aha, ipapa ndo panonyaya chapa. The soldiers
Yeah.
of Nebuchadnezzar. Nebuchadnezzar was not there. Anga ari kumba.
Yes.
Saka akati andiuye kuzobata mufana igurwe. Kana mambata uyai naye kuno. So the soldiers took the king of Judah,
Yes.
brought him to Nebuchadnezzar.
Yes.
What happened?
And they gave judgment upon him.
And he was judged. Bishop Jeremiah, we want to see Maduro in court. So there are two things that happened in verse 6. After his arrest, Zedekiah was carried to Babylon.
Yes.
And when he was put into Babylon, they took him to court.
Yes.
Nebuchadnezzar akatsuka munhu kuJudha akazonotongerwa kukoti yekuBabylon. Zedekiah's magistrate or high court judge was not a Jewish judge.
No.
He was a Chaldean.
Yes.
Judgment was given upon Zedekiah. Verse 7.
And they slew the sons of Zedekiah before his eyes, and put out the eyes of Zedekiah, and bound him with fetters of brass, and carried him to Babylon.
Oh, my handcuffs. Look at the image there. He was bound in handcuffs,
Yes.
and they carried him to Babylon.
Yes.
Maduro was carried to the United States of America. It's just a question. Could this be a coincidence?
Wow. Amazing.
Believers, Bishop Jeremiah, is this a coincidence?
Am I taking it from the point where you were also looking at who Maduro is and how he ruled Venezuela? We can see the end of the Lord there, because exactly is what happened to Zedekiah is what happened to Maduro.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's like Trump read the book and he said, don't diminish a word. Let's follow every scripture.
Yes.
When you arrest the man, don't kill him.
Yes.
Put him into chains.
Yes.
Bring him to me,
Yes.
and we will take him to court.
We'll judge him.
We will judge him.
And the major aspect there is Zedekiah did evil.
Yes.
Lord.
He was not an innocent man.
Yes, exactly.
Those who say we don't like the bullying of Trump, we are not talking about an innocent man there.
Yeah.
And this is why most Venezuelans were happy with his arrest.
Yes.
And this is why when God saw him paying his tribute, God was worried. If this guy continues to pay his tribute, Nebuchadnezzar will like him.
Yes.
And he will remain safe.
Yes. Yeah.
So one day Zedekiah said, I won't pay any money to Nebuchadnezzar.
Yeah.
I can let him come, nothing will happen.
Yeah.
And nobody said to him, Mr. President, this one is not your age mate. He is not your equal.
No.
Know your boundaries.
Yes.
Now I want to ask everyone, including our Venezuelan brothers and sisters, how do you feel when you see that you no longer have your president? He is now a prisoner in another country. So Mr. Trump said, take him at midnight.
Right.
He will finish his sleep this side. Kananga chirota anopedzera hope dzake kuno. And what people do not know is that Venezuela was actually stronger than more than 95% of African countries, militarily speaking.
Okay.
Yes. A nation like Zimbabwe could not go to war with Venezuela. That's how strong it was.
Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. A nation like Zimbabwe could not go to war with Venezuela. And so you must be able to distinguish between strength and make up disguised as strength.
Yeah.
When our politicians are talking a lot, they sound strong. But this should be an awakening call.
Yes.
That apparently we are also very weak. Kutaura zvedu asi chinozikanwa hapana.
Yes. Simba hapana.